Hello, species value nature system. Since I was a kid, there was people recorded and confessed, making confessions about their roles with judges and with prison cliques, with kids and with adults. I was never in a prison. I have no criminal record. But there are recorded ties from some area superior courts and probate courts and their family members with kids in my town who are now adults, and now they have roles with the same kind of database crime that is juxtaposed. They had roles confessed and recorded growing up with judges spreading rumors and pretending people had associations with people that they didn't in cases, and verbally and breaking the rules and putting sequence shifts and tied to their crimes with campuses and with database relationships, stacking people in classrooms that they had drug crime roles with, other natures of child abuses, and then lifting them as adults roles. They have to cover up live aggression because they were raised with witness fabrication roles, also recorded, evidence crime role, all kinds of natures of crime roles juxtaposed. They're recorded using effectively using sexual crimes against kids and overt proven sexual predators recorded tied to the interbranch actors. There's a Ray Colello who came and moved into a house. He used to be a former police chiefs. He also recorded and confessed involved with people with the current police chief's extended family, with internation police families and drug cliques with kids, and with evidence crime acts, and not letting it reported. And they direct the news to fake both sides of stories, to steal voices. So I'm not a regular news person, but it's recorded that I have more credibility than them. And there's a Fred Grisey. Other people, there were people when I was in grammar school that admitted. There's a Justin Kavinskis who's confessed and recorded tied to KKK themed and Confederate flag themed crimes with databases, with witness fabrication cliques, and with drug cliques tied to schools that I went to, and tied to the people that had database illusion stacking with a method where they affect confessions and demonstrations so they could go right other. And just pretend that when no one realizes, because they're stacking live progression cover-ups from their database crime roles when I was a kid. And this has recorded ill effects on everyone who came through these schools, tied to a principal reportedly still in jail for related sex crimes, but they hid more, recorded and confessed. Interbranch police also in collusion, covering up each other, like gangland, as reactions because they have to, but how they were raised, criminally foreign influence areas. This is recorded too. So we have DACA talking about agreements with policing with the trade center, with trade negotiations, tied to all areas where those agencies in our own are in collusion with and as an extent that they don't care. Because, we're only raised victim predators themselves, blaming on others the real causes of negative value nature progressions and acts. Negative value nature progressions, like criminal insidiousness nature developments, natures, like wrongdoers, and like acts like predicate acts, criminal insidiousness nature behind them, associated with organized crime. These are organized crime terms. Predicate act is always inherently. This is my book too, because the science of shared identity, for example, about the nature of the predicate value, is in demonstration of what is simultaneously, inherently, actively, and progressively positive's relationship to itself as an identity of value discernment. Space English is about space, nature, identity of value discernment. So we have dishonest, recorded, criminal insidious nature takes on positive per media. Connecticut media recorded too. And consciously, criminally foreign influence through areas. Pretending they don't believe that police could lie to them. Knowing they're faking both sides of the stories, so knowing that they're lying to them and lying with them, how they were raised. There's an Allison McKay. I never had a conversation with her in my life, never had a class with her in my life. She's recorded and confessed involved with crimes with two DeMaine brothers, with police family, men and women, hurt, each age of all kinds of natures of crimes juxtaposed, but with roles with the database crime specifically, the drug crime, and with the actors who, after they graduated high school, made confessions to me that I didn't understand. But I understand now what they were saying is that people I had nothing to do with the whole time they were in high school. They called me for and made confessions and stuff like that sequentially because they wanted to make it look, because they had them involved with witness fabrication, crime roles with databases, and they were writing illusions in the background. When we have experts with mental health and stuff like that, pretending they had conversations, know people that they don't even know, in databases, directing problems in schools, and classroom placement manipulations, because they know the time people only, you have to go to your next class, stuff like that. You're only going to see experience and know other people through other people's words, which is what they're keeping. And they're keeping no way to stop it, because the way they're timing it, they know we're a progressive value that they're exploiting for breaching organized crime method. This was recorded what forsakes Native American rights in sequence, with and as understanding that is simultaneously understanding the organized crime method that forsakes. Forsaken means embodies the nature of the people in urban poverty as stacked by colonization's crazy laws before our founders' births. This also worse than obfuscated by criminally foreign influenced American history, each of the sciences recorded. This is with the problem why they won't let, what did they rape the whole Olympic team? There's a guy named Dave. I have to get his name. I don't know his name. I only saw him for brief seconds when I was young. He lives near. He reportedly lived. He lived near. I was only there for half a second once, and it was my neighbor and one of the officers involved with the child sex predators. With the police, recorded, proven, but more for recorded and confessed. Also, an Inspector Mike with the Wethersfield Police Department, recorded and confessed involved with the KKK Confederate flag theme crimes, with the child sex predator groups, and with Marines involved down the street with Joe DeMoro was in my 5th grade class. The guy didn't even teach the class. You have to watch the groups too. They put those groups so they can get over rackets that are off the records, hiding how they got over it on it years prior, and because they're having database illusion stacking for crime methods that are exploiting the time positions of fact treatment natures to spot. Everyone's relying upon expert lean, and as nature's already progressed, breaking the rules doing that, each person, because when and how that was is being exploited. In other words, we have acts not being talked about. Wethersfield Police recorded with physical delusions, sequence shifts. I didn't even get to mention the rape threats before the guy did that, and he lied about my emails with the Connecticut media. Also before that, recorded criminally foreign influence through the roles with Wethersfield other ways. Wethersfield intercities with the Wethersfield State Judicial Branch officers also recorded and confessed, verbally, non-verbally involved, criminally. Same actors through time with KKK themed crimes. And as black actors. He's a black doctor too. I never had a conversation with him. I tried to have a conversation with him one time. One of the people recorded tied to the former dispatcher with her 2 sons involved with recorded sex offenders. One of them on the sex offender list. Real or made up, because they were undercover, but they were really with undercover using that, recorded using that, pretend that they're just doing undercover to hide their crime acts, and stacking them and sustaining them on people, and on each age of innocence, not knowing how, as an exploited fact treatment nature, especially regarding our elderly, and especially regarding our youth. We have more recorded child predators of various natures with the kids. It's important to note that the men and women involved with sex crime acts are obviously not sex. Their motivation is to hurt, because they're raising their kids now as interbranch families recorded criminally foreign influence. We have really creepy people recorded, associated with court, like a Joe Aiello and his sisters and his father, associated with places on and off campus and people on and off campus with Trinity College with Federal Crime Act roles, associated at the same time with on and off campus CCSU crime roles, recorded and confessed by himself and by others. I didn't know he was associated with the CCSU at the time. Now see, my neighbor Ray Colo, who moved into the former police chief's girlfriend's house with a doggy door, had a dog try to kill my sister, little girl. Sick dog, sick people through time. Also, other agencies in the area recorded and confessed involved. Also, with FBI treatments of someone on the extended family of someone on the what is it called? The Witness Protection Program. But that person, that was all raised. Hartford has legalized, like other nations, sharing policing of business spots, like job sites and construction and stuff like that. Have recorded for all kinds of federal criminals, like that's all juxtaposed when they have drug dealing and rackets with that, with extortion acts and natures of shootings, body dumping spots and stuff tied. The transition from ACA to RICO. ACA is Organized Crime Control Act. RICO is Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organization Act. Racketeering. See, we have fact treatment rackets tied to a database racketeer, organized crime breaching method that did this originally. They had database relationships with slavery laws against each person of every single color, with and as the value of colonization that was entrenched here internation since before our founders' births. Before it was already a method, keeping live progression natures in relationship to databases and propagating this for a long-term breaching method with that fact treatment nature. So people that did mean things to me when I was a kid, I forgive them right away. And then you forget about it because you don't even know the people. Then years later they come or whatever. And then the whole time, those kind of acts are being used to cover live progressions, tied to how we have trade agreements, right down to our treatments of elderly homes, right down to our treatments of kids. They can't defend, and of religions. They can't defend that in themselves at the same time, not by accident. That's maintained. That's maintained for what? Is maintaining only let realize areas and states criminally foreign influence agencies and methods of keeping the fact treatment nature. And so the fact treatments of our presidents recorded, forced with no, with only let realize criminally foreign influence, insidiously dishonest opinion nature. So where and how areas need voices in relationships of categorically denatured relationships to nature and to ourselves and to truth as fact treatment nature is the Constitution. We have interbranch collusion on Hartford through time, on New Britain through time, recorded. We have mentally ill judges and doctors together, and with prison cliques, and with their crimes with their prisons before they were in prison, and with the fake news, faking both sides of stories and refusing to cover it up. There's no place to make a report. They had a whole Olympic team raped, and not one person could talk about acts because the news is writing full. They're putting opinions, and they're worse than hearsay, but with area crimes and with in-court crimes with courts, and with them covering up their crimes with prisons because they were recorded too. With Sandy Hook involved with this child's school, with the sexual predator proven leadership of the campus, but further recorded and confessed through time. Also, a former principal had and girls with the school recorded criminally foreign influence hurt, and then that tied to predators still uncharged with New Britain Superior Court and with Hartford Superior Court, confessed and recorded through time. Joe Aiello also recorded and confessed, tied to people associated with Johnny Duke, with interstate criminal justice rackets, internation police, and fake sides, where they're facilitating that to hide behind, wherein how they're knaves together with all kinds of natures and methods of crimes that no one's going to report because it requires communicating about and demonstrating what they are recorded as together. Fox CT has Alison Mulcahy. I never had a conversation with in my life. John Miano years ago told me that she threw an egg on my house. In other words, a passion crime to pretend that she knows me. And that's tied to the two DeMaine brothers and their parents recorded and confessed involved with crimes with the family members of what is it called? A probate court, and with other police forms, agencies, and then inter-branch police forms. The governor's police and recording of a confessed involved. Governor himself recording and confessed involved with inter-branch actors with fake both sides of news to cover their roles. A former mayor of Gold recorded and confessed involved by verbally, non-verbally by Joe Aiello with violence crimes and with database solution stacking crimes and with witness crimes and with child sex offenders. I never had a conversation with that guy in my life. He 2 times non-verbally demonstrated he had crime rolls with kids, and with he's got a daughter named Debbie Gold. I don't know. And then there's a Goldman who's with Fox News that I don't know, but he's recorded and confessed, implied further involved with the police forms, with the Child Sex Crime Act, like with online Facebook rape threats, and confessions regarding the school that brought up the school. And then I've tried to report it, and they have all kind of lie stacks but it was before the principal was arrested for whatever, taking pictures of kids or whatever like that. But that was also recorded and confessed involved with the people who arrested him, with the stores, like if that was an Ames store, involved with the Kerr family, also recorded and confessed involved with interbranch actors with recorded crime acts of various natures with the kids through time, and now with recorded sexual force sustained language and natures on kids. So the news has no credibility, and to pretend they have credibility, they're spreading rumors with clicks and pretending those numbers of people that agree about strangers, because they won't put it on paper though. They're pretending like they want privacy and stuff like that. Meanwhile, they're forcing people to have no privacy, to have to ignore recorded all kinds of abuses, including sexual ones, of courts recorded with off-campus crimes, with interbranch police, and with foreign ones, and with doctors, medical families, whole families, men and women there, recorded, associated with that, with EMS, with crimes with the child sex predators in various natures of courts at once, and with the areas, because now they're covering live progressions with that. They're telling the news to. They're telling people online to pretend people have, that's all the violence online is all tied to people that are saying, oh, these people have mental illnesses and stuff. They don't even know them. They don't use premises, and they're recorded dishonest with themselves and with others, and recorded tied to child sex predators. We have doctors who are investigators with the agencies, and we have the agencies recorded, listed as victim predator knaves in every modern nation. Every modern nation lost to this. Slavery wasn't furthered by prejudice. Slavery was furthered by racism, in other words. Slavery was furthered by an organized crime breaching method with crazy laws tied to the database, tied to what people could say. If you even were found out talking about building a house, even thinking about that outside of an internation monitored database relationship, which was further off the record internation monitored, because it was a long-term breaching method, using our fact treatment nature as a tool. They criminally re-engineered the identity that the sciences share, which is all about how our fact treatment nature's value, positive or negative, in relationship to it, if we're value onto its nature, or if we're value onto physical, temporary nature. And the difference, when we're trying to be value onto our nature, positive also progressively, it causes evolution. But we have to be finite, active, body of value, and overall, true. See, we have overall. The Constitution doesn't say that if you become an interbranch clique, you have the right to be a pretend power in physical delusions with such like that, to be knaves. In other words, that online policing with each platform is being recorded, being used for evidence crimes roles with the police recorded. But now, what they're doing, they're stacking dozens of people's names against strangers through a crime method that motivated it. But they can't put it on paper because all those motivations aren't there then. In other words, if they have interbranch actors telling everyone, and WFSB going with the house, with the schools, with the men and women, with their kids, they're furthering their kids involved more with the people associated with Fred Grisette, recorded and confessed involved. And they're wasting time too, because they're trying to change in other words, those acts are connected to, every day I've been asking to correct the police. If you try to talk to them, they put physical delusions as a lie on purpose, because they're recorded through time. Every year of my life with crimes with each campus I went to, on and off campus. And I tried to report this too, because since 9/11 they were recording federal crimes that I knew. I had the sense that were connected to the Trade Center attack, which was, we were in the context right before that in the Ninth Circuit, which has tied in court sequence shift proven. That led to a 2006 case in the Connecticut District Court where former director of the FBI was a defendant with federal criminals who had a daughter of my grade, criminally involved with the interbranch actors and acts through time, with other kids who they also drug dealed with, and had evidence crime rules, database crime rules. And now that's tied to them, to their motivations and acts recorded, forcing, sustained abuses of kids, because, and in other words, by men and women. There are women doctors who facilitated and covered up one of the child sex predators, with the rest of them recorded and confessed involved. See, but the numbers of the people interbranch are a lot. They did real bad through time, various natures of courts. Hartford Superior Court recorded and confessed criminally involved. Men and women, privately and other, with hospital drug clinics and stuff like that. Park Street, New Park Avenue, Lena's Pizza. Intercity can record and confess involved. Also with a bunch of people who share the name Alicia involved with the male crimes. And with police forms coercing women, sharing women with their federal criminal boyfriends and stuff like that, and investigators associated with UPS. Before I went to work there, because this was also tied to people that made confessions about those places when I was a kid that I didn't know. In other words, Wethersfield interbranch, the state judicial branch offices, the state prison branch offices, houses next to them recorded and confessed involved with database crimes when I was a kid, with my classes. There was 3 sisters. One of them went out with one of the brothers of there was like 3 or 4 sisters. One of them and brothers there, but one of them went out with a probate judge's. One of a bunch of brothers like Delafera. They also they made all these confessions to me as strangers. I don't know them. Then they pretended to know me behind my back, and like with somebody Scalora also recorded and confessed involved with the drug untimely deaths that brought up the school, revealing that they have the child sex predators, and other stuff like that before that and since that they've been hiding. There's a Christine Bedard, Christine Tardet, recorded and confessed involved with crimes in past cases and having set me up to hide her recorded roles with sexual abuses of little girls by too young to understand it. Now that they've been forced to sustain contemplation of such as the youngest girls. And we have these rackets where they're using their kids through time as reaction, as tools. We have a breaching method to face. Think slavery is a joke? No. Slavery is not a joke. And this is how you counter it, as an organized crime. So we have predicate acts recorded, like with these are extortion acts, when you waste people's time like this, forcing them to ignore abuses of little kids and of mothers, recorded. And doctors, recorded. Fucking, they're switching names interbranch. We're gonna need the names of the judges too, because they're sequence shifting with that. They're preventing people to have voice. Those switching names of interbranch leaders is simultaneously consciously involved with the fake news. Fake both sides of stories for preventing opinion. I'm talking about acts here. I'm talking about acts here. I'm not talking about their physical delusions recorded. Their crime methods with evidence is recorded. Their natures recorded. It's sick with each branch. The elections in town. God help who's talking about me behind my back, because they know. They don't know me. They don't know me. They didn't have a free election in this town. They don't. We're going to deal with the kids, with the rest of the child predators, with the school. There's more recorded and confessed involved with the, the middle school. On off-campus relationships, too, are also recorded and confessed criminally involved. Totally recorded and criminally involved. Now, there's a CT style, also recorded and confessed involved, covering up the life progressions of WFSB, who's recorded demonstrating that they're going to lie, that they're planning on lying to the Attorney General, which the state's attorneys are also recorded having done through time. And to prevent this, there's also recorded confessed involved with crimes further tied to the 2006 Connecticut case, tied to the Manhattan Ninth Circuit case with the proven sequence shift that was effected from inside the courtroom. That led to the 2006 part of the case, which was going on at the time of my father's death. The police associated with those cases were also involved with on and off campuses crimes with CCSU. and with the manipulation of women and of people that were living in an apartment on Covington Street, they're also preventing me from getting the name of the leasing agent with that, recorded and confessed involved with his son, with the crimes of the rest of the child predators, and with people from my town that were in the area at the time I didn't know. My neighbors that used to live next to me here, the extended family of them, they were associated with it over there and at Trinity College with an untimely death. But I didn't know they were living with, when I was in an apartment over there.